Hey, welcome in. This is not a podcast. I am Das Food, and today I am joined by the amazing and talented Odori. Odori, say hi to the people.
Hello.
And we have we have a lot in common, and the reason we eventually got around to making this the first, I was going to say the first guest of the podcast, but this is not a podcast. This is something better, something different.
Wait, what's a podcast?
A
What?
podcast is this new thing that the kids are doing. Or at least it was what the kids are doing, and now it's a bunch of 40-year-old men with really, really big studios. We don't have that. What we have is PNGs that move when we talk. And you know what?
It's quality.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with where we are. This is
Exactly.
as high tech as it's ever gonna get for me. So anybody who wants a wants a professional setup here, you're in the wrong place. I know it's like one of those things you're not supposed to tell people to not use your product, whatever it is, but if you go for professionalism, I promise you.
See, but like at the same time, some people don't want the professionalism. They want more of like the personalable. There's certain like people that like professional and certain people that prefer like the at-home personal, very amateur, and that's what we are.
Yeah, well, I had one time, my buddy Mize, hi Mize, he's another streamer. He's German. He's a cool dude. He I don't know if he was insulting me or complimenting me, because we do like to roast each other some, but he said that my YouTube channel reminded him of old YouTube before everyone figured out like production value. Uh,
This okay, okay.
uh,
I can
which,
see that a
the
little.
funny part is he's right. Like, that's the thing, is it wasn't offensive because it's like,
Hmm.
well, damn. So anyway, I was saying we have a lot in common, and what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the new Ice Nine Kills album, which, if I had a better marketing mind, I would have had this like ready to go the day after it dropped. But this is pretty on time for me. This is I very rarely get to things like right as they drop. I did a Halloween Kills review the night after it dropped, but that was like it was like seeing Aurora Borealis. That was a once in a lifetime thing, you
Well, I
know.
think with like Halloween Kills and compared to like a full-length album is with the full-length album, especially for me, I needed time to think about what I really enjoyed out of it and what I disliked. And I can't it's one of those I can't get an opinion right away.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need a lot of listens. Halloween Kills, I had an opinion right away. And yeah.
And if anybody wants my opinion on that, oh boy, you can get 30 minutes of opinion on that. Because I posted that on this very YouTube channel. So
Check out the link below in the
there's
summary.
no link below. There's never a link below. I
Oh
don't.
shit.
I'm not professional enough to do links below. The only time I do that is if I'm borrowing something from somebody else and I don't want to like get claimed.
Hmm.
Um, but if it's my own stuff, you know what? I have very few videos. I believe in you, dear viewer, listener, whoever. You're smart enough to find it, but
Smart
probably
and
also smart enough
us.
not to seek it out, because honestly, it's just me rambling about a movie I didn't really like. But but I was upset. I was looking forward to it because Halloween 2018 was so good, I thought.
Oh my god, it was so good.
And then
Oh,
Halloween Kills was kind of
uh,
DD mega doo doo.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
but
But you know what was
speaking
not
of horror
DD mega
film,
doo doo? If I'm doing a clean transition there, it was not DD mega doo doo. Which, by the way, are you familiar with like the origin of that term?
no,
It
but I
was
feel that mood.
it was a it was a blooper, right? It was a news
A
blooper,
blooper.
and the woman butchered what the teleprompter told her. Um, she was talking about a woman that had died, and I
Oh
know, and she said, and this
no! It's
just
big
in,
mega doo doo.
local officer DD Mega Doodoo died. And then she catches it, but it's like, oh my gosh.
That's bad.
That's, yeah, whose family was pretty upset, I would imagine. Probably the office, not the officer, the family of the late great DD Mega Doodoo. Which the
Man,
Doodoo is what makes it so much worse, because DD's a name, but Mega Doodoo, you read her surname as Mega
it's mega
Doodoo.
doo doo.
Yeah, so that word has worked its way into my regular vocabulary, and only sometimes do I stop and think like, hey, wait, no,
This is bad.
this is an obscure reference. It's not bad. I didn't say it. I don't. I didn't call her doo doo. I'm talking about something else. But anyway, what's not Dee Dee Mega Doo Doo is the Welcome to Horrorwood album from Ice Nine Kills. I think that off the top, we'll tip our hands here and say, at least I'm not gonna speak for you. If I do, call me out, I'll be like, hey, you're putting words in my mouth.
Oh
Cool.
yeah.
Uh,
Ooh.
I am of the opinion that this is, how would I say, probably it is two albums what Scream 2 is to Scream, where it's like, is it a worthy sequel? Yeah. Does it surpass the original? Probably not, but I'd say it's good. It justifies its existence. It's an enjoyable
I
listen.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great sequel, but I also am like it's nothing's gonna surpass like like yes, Every Trick in the Book was such a good album, but I feel like the Silver Scream really put them out there
Commercially and
and
artistically speaking.
commercially and artistically speaking.
Hmm.
But yeah, this isn't gonna have the same like oh god the boom, but I feel like this is what this is a good sequel and it has some really good music. It's never gonna be the hype or the height that the original Silver Scream is, but that's with any music album that gets
Well,
that.
and it's not just it's I guess what they really had working against them for this one
Mhm.
was that they knocked out so many heavyweights with the first one. It's kind of the same problem of uh of Dead by Daylight adding license chapters where it's like, okay, we're adding
Mhm.
licenses. Hell yeah, let's get Michael Myers. Cool. Let's get Freddy Krueger. Let's get Leatherface. And then
Fuck yeah.
you get these where people start to say you know, you get the mainstream ones out of the way, and while people who are big horror fans like myself, and I think you as well, right? You're a pretty big horror fan.
I am not as well versed in horror, but I do love horror a lot.
But there are so many not as mainstream, but also not indie. Nobody's heard of them. Like I mean, obviously, Dead by Daylight and Horrorwood both covered the Hellraiser franchise. Later on, it was one of the later chapters in DVD, and obviously, it was in this
Mhm.
sequel album. Uh, Hellraiser is by no means an obscure title, but if you're asking, John or Jane Doe on the street or whatever, you know, hey, do you know who this is? And you show them Jason, they probably know who Jason is. Freddy, yeah, they probably know Freddy. Michael, yeah. Even if they can't name them, they're kind of familiar with them. But things like Evil Dead, American Psycho, Hostel, these are popular films, but they're
Cabin
not.
Fever.
They're yeah, Cabin Fever. They're popular, but they're not as popular. They have not reached that
Mhm.
cultural zeitgeist that people like Freddy Krueger have. But that didn't stop them. They took some, and I was blown away by what they did with some of them. So I'm really excited to get into it. I think the best way to go about this, we're going to talk about each song. I hope you have a drink on standby because I chose coffee. I am as dumb as a human being gets. Coffee does not
Feels,
quench your thirst. Um,
but it's delicious.
oh, it's so good, and I have this nice. You're gonna get a joke out of this that nobody at home's going to be able to appreciate. It's matte. It's it's got a matte finish.
Oh, yeah, I get that though. Like when it's like it's very like not smooth, but I know what you mean. Like it's not like some coffees are very like you can taste like
Oh no, no, I mean the
bitterness.
mug. I mean the mug is
Oh, the mug.
I have
I
a
thought you meant
it's
the
no,
coffee.
no, not the coffee. That'd be hard to drink. It's the mug itself is big and matte. It is the perfect mug. Uh
Oh, that sounds nice
I
actually.
know I got it on my vacation in Texas recently. It's a great mug. It's for a college I didn't even go to, but I saw the mug. I picked it up. I held it kind of like Pinhead holds the box, and I was like, is this
This is
mug?
my laminate
I came, uh, and then I was shown out of the store, uh, because obviously. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, so I got coffee here. Do you have a drink on hand?
I have some coffee as well and some water.
See, so I accidentally roasted you by implying that it was stupid to have coffee. Uh,
Yeah,
I guess if we wanted to be really cool, we'd have G Fuel. We'd have some G Fuel here, right?
and imagine being sponsored by G Fuel.
Yeah, let's get that food juice in that Odori water.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, that
those are some cursed terms.
oh, that makes me think of gamer water,
Gamer
gamer.
water. Yeah, I watched a thing on like where Belle Delphine went just last night because like I didn't know she had disappeared, but apparently she has.
Yeah.
For like 8 months or something. But
Mhm.
anyway, none of that has to do with the album. None of that has
We
to.
did have a music bit, which speaking of music, let's continue on with Welcome to Horror.
Oh, transitions. We've got them.
Top
Uh,
notch.
so what we did was I reached out to Odori, or maybe you guys should reach out to me more responsible and all that. But we ranked the songs on the album 1 to 13. We did not include anything that was not like a full song. So opening night, it's
Mhm.
cool. It's a really good mood setter for the album. We'll touch on it very briefly, but we didn't rank it. I mean, how are you supposed to rank a 40 minute damn a 40-second not song against
Yeah.
actual song? It's just not the same.
And
um
as well as the deluxe edition does come with 2 orchestral songs
mm,
or orchestral arrangements for Assault and Batteries and Ex Mortis.
yeah, yeah, and again, if that's
You can't find that on YouTube, weirdly. I've tried,
if you're one of those, if you're one of the two viewers that check this out, let us know down below if you're just
which
furious
is
that
your
we left
favorite
out.
orchestral
I was
piece.
gonna say, is the orchestral, is that your favorite one? And if so, why are your opinions so wrong all the time? Do you think this is why your parents don't talk to you? Um,
Oh
sorry,
god.
that was projection there. Um, anyway, so what we did is we ranked them 1 to 13, and we have these up in front of us, ourselves, our eyes, our peepers, and I'll put those on the screen. Everybody can see what we ranked. But it was actually super interesting because they're up on the screen now. The beauty
Yeah,
of
it's
the beauty of post. Um, the funniest thing that could not have been planned any better is that
no, it was not.
my favorite song is Adori's least favorite song.
Yeah,
So I cannot wait. I cannot
and
wait
my
until
favorite
we
is your
get.
second least favorite.
I can't wait. Where is it? Let's see. So the box is 10th, and Farewell to Flesh is 14th. So you got to stick in till closer to
Mhm.
the end if you want all the juicy disagreements. But yeah,
See some fight.
this is gonna be good. So I think I don't know. I was telling Dory before we went live. I'm in terrible shape, and not only did I just have to walk upstairs to get here, I smoked a cigar before I did.
Yeah,
Because
that's not good.
I'm speed running like an early death, any percent. Um, and so far I'm really doing well. But
I'm proud of you.
thank you. I really, when I set my mind to something, I really do overachieve. Um, but let's go on and get into it. So this is fascinating because again, it's hilarious to me. The fact my favorite song is your least favorite. Your favorite is my second least favorite.
Yeah,
That is amazing. I mean, that is genuinely. I knew we would disagree on some, and this almost
but
makes me want to go back and do it for the Silver Scream because I think
mhm.
I'm just at this point. I don't even know. I don't know
I was
how.
shocked too. Like, I'm like, "Oh." There was one, like, Ex Mortis I could see being higher on yours than mine. Like, I had a feeling like, "Oh, yeah, this is a song DOS would be kind of into."
Well, it's groovy. It's
Groovy.
groovy, yeah. But no, we'll get into the songs more specifically. Uh,
Mhm,
I think the first thing I want to do is we've already talked about. We say it's a generally good album. Would you
mhm.
say this is better to you than the Silver Screen?
So,
I didn't tell you I was going to ask this question, so.
you didn't. So, I do love the Silver Scream a lot, and I feel like this is a really good sequel album. In some instances, I have found myself jam a little more than certain songs on the Silver Scream.
Okay.
But I think they're this is gonna be a cheap cop out thing to say.
Oh, they're both good in their own way.
They are! That's the thing,
That's not
like,
fair.
they there's things about the Silver Scream that I think are, again, the heavy hitters. You got the top fucking dogs of Friday the 13th, uh, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street, you can't beat those 3, you know? While
Mm-hmm.
you also have, like, movies on here that I have never seen, you know, like, I have never seen, such as, uh, Hostel
Well,
or,
that's
like,
that's just because you hate Germany.
Hostel or Cabin Fever and
That's because you
such,
hate
and
cabins.
with them having, like, you know, a more well-known like, thing and kind
Mm-hmm.
of with I feel like this album both is a good mesh of see, I don't know how you feel about this, except for 1 or 2 songs. I will we'll get to that later. I feel like this thing is a good mesh of every trick in the book and the Silver Scream. I think they perfectly balanced both of those. But do I think this is the next album to get them to be kicked off? No, I feel like this is a good album for current fans.
Well, this one's not doing anything new, and it's hard to
Yeah, it's not
blow
doing anything
up.
new.
And I mean, they reference it in their
Mhm.
Patrick Bateman inspired monologue about commercially and artistically speaking.
Artistically.
Yeah, obviously, the Silver Scream was the one that put them in the public eye more than anything else.
And
But
this is where it
I wasn't really talking about from a critical or I was just saying from
I
your own personal standpoint.
yeah,
Do you personally, if you had to, uh, I was gonna say gun to your head, but I think given the subject matter, knife to your throat, you have to choose one of the albums. Uh,
that really sucks because I was gonna say, yeah, they do have the heavy hitters, and I listen to those classically,
mhm.
but as you see from me never seeing Cabin Fever or, you know, like Hostel,
You haven't seen Hellraiser, have you?
I have, but it's been a long ass time.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll go
Long
on.
ass.
I'll go on and share my opinion here. I think that in fighting, you hear the term pound for pound a lot, right? And that means
Mhm.
that if you're in the UFC and you have one guy that's 135 pounds and one guy that's 210 pounds,
Mhm.
you can't obviously the 210-pound guy would win, but pound for pound, who's better? Um, and in that instance, I think Horrorwood is a more consistent album.
Mhm. I feel
I
like there's a
think
lot
that
more.
its highs are higher and its lows are not as low.
It is better in certain aspects. It's just not gonna reach that peak. I find myself jamming more to some of these songs than some songs to the Silver Scream because
Which
there are some songs
part of
on
that
the
is
Silver
the
Scream
newer
I'm
aspect, right?
kind of, but it's also there are certain songs on there on the Silver Scream I will admit I'm not a huge fan of, and I will skip.
What do you skip on the Silver Scream?
That'll be another detail in a future episode.
Oh, okay, okay. Better not be rocking the boat. It's It's a good ass song. I don't think it gets it doesn't get enough love. Yeah, okay, okay, never mind. We just have different musical tastes apparently.
It's okay.
Um no it's not. You're not this is the internet actually.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot.
Please do not disagree with my opinions ever. That's just
I'm a
super.
woman, so you can't disagree with me.
I forgot that I had to simp. I'm sorry. A shrimp. Well, sorry Twitch. Shrimp. Oh wait, that's going on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. You can say
I'm at
simp.
the mercy of Susan Wabajack now. Not Twitch. So
Oh
take
boy.
that, Bezos. But anyway, getting into it, it would appear we have a lot to talk about.
We
So
do.
we're not going to spend almost any time on it. Opening night,
I think it's a good opening.
it
It's
sets
not
the
that long.
tone. It's not a song, but it sets the
Did you
tone. And it's the only issue I have with it is so clearly a nod to Texas Chainsaw that I can't help but figure out why it wasn't on the previous album.
Yeah, so funny enough, so hold on, let me double check. I forgot like the guy's name. Who
The
was
lead
again
singer, or
no, the big actor that they got in their music videos, which was Bill Moseley.
mm-hmm.
That's Bill Moseley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Bill Moseley speaking on opening night, which is pretty cool. Funny you say Texas Chainsaw because you know he.
Well, no, I'm just saying you had Savages, which was a Texas Chainsaw inspired song on the previous
Mhm.
album.
Mhm.
And then I guess what's weird about it is in terms of thematically, Opening Night is a clear homage to Texas Chainsaw, and then it goes into Welcome to Horrorwood, which isn't inherently tied to a specific film, but if you had to tie it to a specific film, it tackles the same subjects as Scream 2 about
Mm,
about Hollywood violence translating to real life. Uh,
mhm.
we can get into that really pretty much right now because I mean, what more are you going to say about a 40-second teaser intro? Essentially,
I
it
think
sets
it's
the tone and it's
fun. I
good.
feel
It's
like
fun.
it's like kind of like it's like the beginning of a documentary type thing you'd find on like some true crime type thing.
No, I
It's
agree.
like,
I agree. It's good.
mm,
I like when albums do things like that. I think it's
yeah,
fun.
I
But
like opening things.
let's
It's pretty cool.
let us sink our teeth into the album here and
Mhm.
move into Welcome to Horrorwood, which, despite essentially, I mean, no, it is. I was gonna say essentially being the title of the album. It is the title of the album. Okay.
It is the title.
Yeah, I had a for whatever reason I just had it as Horrorwood. Like that was the whole title in my head. You put it at sixth, which is respectable. That's in the upper
Mhm.
half, and then I put it all the way down at 11. So right off the bat, we seem to have some disagreement, but it also it needs to be known that we were talking about before we went live and before we saw each other's lists. Uh, it gets kind of hard once you're towards the middle of it. Um,
So for me,
I mean,
five
ranking the
to
album, by the way,
eight
yeah.
5 to 8 was the most difficult for me because those are songs, depending on the day, I really jam to, and other days I don't jam to as hard. And Welcome to Horrorwood is one of those songs. I think it's a really great taking the themes of like horror movies, but being not based on a horror film. Like
Yeah.
it, and it has a good chant to it, has a good catchy chorus. It's not my favorite of the album, but I think for as an original Ice Nine Kills song, that's not a reference really to anything except if you pull it, Scream 2,
Hmm.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, my issue with Welcome to Horrorwood
Mhm.
is it's kind of funny because what I would call it, I'd call it an anthem song,
Oh, it's
and
very anthematic.
you get a lot of anthem songs in rock, and metal and the various genres between. Metalcore in particular is it
They love their anthem
seems to be
music.
kind of drawn to anthem songs. And the thing about anthem songs is if you resonate with the message or if you find the actual anthem part, the chorus, to be really catchy, you're
Mhm.
going to probably really enjoy the song. I personally, I mean, the whole
Mhm.
like, more bad than good and all the stuff, basically, the Hollywood lifestyle, I can't really relate to living in Hollywood.
Lifestyles of the rich and the famous.
Yeah, I mean, now see, that's a song I can relate to because it's like,
They're always
I,
complaining.
I don't care about, what Kylie Jenner's up to. And that's not me being an angry boomer. That's just like, why would I care?
That
So,
is very true.
it's kind of in the case of Welcome to Horrorwood, what I would define it as is being fine. It is, it's fine. It's,
Mhm.
last album, if I'm not mistaken, Silver Scream kicked off with The American Nightmare, right?
Yeah, and that is still a pretty good song to me in
Which,
my
yeah, which was not my first Ice Nine Kills song, but it was the first one that I was like, I have got to hear more from these guys.
Mhm.
Um, the first one would have been either Communion of the Damned from Every Trick in the Book, or they did some cover. I think it was of
You said it was the
Adele's
Adele
Hello,
cover.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's where I first heard them. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. Like Horrorwood for me is it's fine. I'm not like when it comes on, I don't skip it. It's not bad. You said that 5 to 9 was hard for you. I mean 5 to 8. Sorry, 5 to 8. For
Yeah.
me, 5 to 9 was really where it got kind of gray, and I'm actually pretty okay with.
Mhm.
It got to the point of when I try to flip them around, it's like, yeah, you could convince me pretty easily
Oh, yeah,
to
no.
swap, shower scene with rash decision or something like that.
Those 2 were the toughest
Which
ones
which
for
honestly,
me.
I just realized as I said it, we both have them um right on top of each other. So apparently they really are that middle ground that even though our lists are basically inverted, they meet in the middle. So So
Yeah.
that's good. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I would say one of my big gripes with Welcome to Horrorwood is I
Mhm.
really don't like the what I call the Panic at the Disco part. Um, and you know exactly what part I'm referring to.
So, I've literally there's a YouTube, channel that I watch, called Arsenic and Espresso, and they first reacted to, oh, what was the song? They reacted to, uh, I think I don't remember what song, but literally the girl was like, "This is just a metalcore Brendan Urie,"
Yeah.
and there's so many people triggered by it, but I'm like, I kind of see it. And then when they got to listen to Every Trick in the Book after Silver Scream, and they got to the Animal Farm song,
Hmm.
Nature of the Beast. um, she still was like, and this is why I say it, it's not because they are poppy like Brandon Urie. It's more of how they can go from like this, like they're his like honestly, his voice can go like any direction, and it's very colorful and can get very theatrical. Like, I do think I don't know if it's been confirmed, but yeah, this he seemed like all of them seemed like a theater kid. Basically, they were old theater kids in high school.
Well, whatever. I just feel
They're
whatever it
nerds.
was the something something the backlight all that it to
You'll jump
me.
in the vent
I
and
feel like I've heard that before in Emperor's New Clothes.
mhm,
Like I feel like I've heard almost that exact. I don't know. Like
mhm.
I get it that sometimes music sounds similar. Like how many,
You'll jump
I don't
in
know.
the
It's fine. It's I don't dislike the song, and I think if you cut that part out of it, it would probably for me. It's like it's under Rainy Day. It'd probably jump Rainy Day if you just didn't have that part in there.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just
I
it
think
was
though,
a
like,
fine way to start the album.
I think why it's higher for me is I do find it a little catchier, I
Hmm.
guess, than you, and that's I also, with my ranking, not based on the song, but how I would sing along to it as well, and do
Okay.
I find myself singing along to these songs,
Yeah,
you know?
that's fine. That's fine. Unless you have something else you want to say about it, I'm gonna try to keep us because I feel like this will be 10 hours if we spend as much time on each song as we want.
Oh, yeah, no,
Uh,
no, we can
so
skip this, we
unless
both agree, it's fine.
yeah, it's a good opening. It's not that I dislike it. It's just that the weight you put on an opening song is immense. And in this
Mhm.
instance, I don't know. It was fine. It didn't just knock it out of the park for me, but it
Mhm.
didn't make me say, "Oh no," which is a terrible feeling when you've been looking forward to an album. You hear one song, you're like, "Oh no, oh no, oh
Oh,
no,"
yeah.
because that's definitely happened before. But
Oh, yeah. But,
uh,
yeah, I think
so
it's good, but there's better songs in the album.
yeah, yeah. So moving on to the second listed track, "A Rash Decision," which for you was in your top five. It was your number four song. For
Yeah.
me, it was eight, but as we've already said, it could have just as easily been number five for me.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you. I led with Horrorwood, so we'll kind of go back and forth on this. Give me your untainted thoughts on Rash Decision.
Rash Decision, uh, okay. So Rash Decision, I have not seen Cabin Fever at all.
Hmm.
I I listened to this album straight from beginning to end in one sitting. Um, Welcome to Horrorwood was really good, but I don't know what happened with Rash Decision, but something with like it just was so good. Like, I was like, "Oh shit." And I'm not as musically artistically speaking with words. Um like certain like hooks, like the
Well, I think if I may interject, I think
yeah.
the reason that Rash Decision, for example, beat out songs that I liked, such as Assault and Batteries, Rainy Day, Welcome to Horrorwood. I mean, songs I genuinely liked, was that opening hook of Rash Decision is it's so damn dramatic. I mean, the
It
guitar
is.
immediately sets a scene, and honestly, I understand why Welcome to Horrorwood. I understand because of the nature of that song, it had to be
Mhm.
the opener. But for me, to
Rash
kick off
Decision
an
was
album with
really
something like
the
Rash
punch of
Decision,
this album.
that one really came in hard and fast. And
Mhm.
it's kind of funny. It's what I like about it a lot is this sense of drama, the almost claustrophobia that it creates.
Mhm.
But you know, in time, the song it stays good. It starts so solid that it never
Mhm.
seems to surpass that for me. So that's why it's a little lower on my list. Is it's
Mhm.
I would I make sports metaphors, right? I'm a big
Mhm.
sports ball guy, so it's kind of like if in the opening quarter you come out and you score like 5 touchdowns, like oh shit, they're running away with this, and then you just kind
And
of
then
sit on the lead the rest of the way, like you don't do anything wrong, you just kind of sit on it. Like I never thought that that really awesome start never went on to be like an all-time great for me, which it
yeah, no.
but it's a good song. It's definitely a good song. I really really liked it.
Mhm. So, yeah, with me, I think it was the catchiness, and I think that this is a random thing for me to I think the use of screams
Hmm.
and the types of screams was really used well with it. I like screamo, but I can admit sometimes they use like certain songs use screamo when it's not needed. The types of screams that really I don't want to say it sounds rashy a bit. It's a funny thing. But it
Rashy.
really like I did like the opening, and then when it was like this is the fever, and he just screams and like that
Yeah.
that's the
Oh yeah,
fever.
yeah, yeah.
That is when it really, like, kicked in and, like, that of do, 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 do. Do, do,
Spencer
do, do.
Charnas goes really hard in this song.
Oh, he does, and then the chorus is very pop punky. That is the best thing I can say. It is very pop punky to
Which
me.
if you're like me, I like pop punk,
Oh, I
so
fucking love pop punk.
I definitely welcome that.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan. Also, you mentioned screams, and I had forgotten this was a criticism of Welcome to Horrorwood. For me,
Screams are not
um,
used with it,
well,
though.
no. It's they took so one of probably the most maligned song of Silver Scream, which I actually enjoyed, but again, I apparently have terrible taste according to Planet Earth. Uh, Love Bites, and one of the criticisms I heard was that part where he gives the yeah, and he does that like several times in Horrorwood, so it's almost like he heard that criticism and he's like, I'm gonna keep fucking doing it too. Like
But see,
it's
it is weird, but, like, at the same time, it's, whatever.
yeah,
Cool.
it's fine. It's Horrorwood. We're going backwards on the album here, but if they could have cut out stuff like that, I would have put it higher.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's rash decision. We both seem to like it. Moving on, Assault and Batteries. This was your number 2 song. This was one you really, really liked,
Yeah.
and it's one that I put at 9. So I hope that
No,
hope
it
we
does
can
not.
have a civil discussion here. But for me, the absolute best thing about Assault and Batteries, and I felt so bad putting it at 9 because I love how just chaotic this song is.
So
It
good. Yeah.
is this song has just kinetic energy, and
Mhm.
honestly they did a really good job of capturing the
The
spirit of
essence
Child's
of Child's
Play.
Play. Yeah.
And honestly, as I talk about, I kind of want to put it a little higher because I was already sold, and then they did the voodoo chanting section,
The
which
Abde Dewey Dembilla, that's
oh yeah, that
so
hits.
can
That
I please explain why Assault and Batteries is really high up for
go on
me?
and go on and tell me why it's in your top 2.
Why it's in my top 2. First off, I don't know how big of a fan of the Child's Play franchise is or like Chucky as a killer. I love that franchise so much. Like and when I saw the trailer for this, I remember I messaged you screaming because I was like, "Holy shit." Right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
it was very exciting.
for me, why it's really high on the list. They did really well capturing the spirit of Child's Play as well as the referencing, the music style, and just the little like hints of like like that laughter and stuff. It they did really good to me. Like, do you? I told you about the chorus. Usually in their songs, they usually have some sort of musical aspect to relate it back to the film, right?
Mhm.
This one, it's not from the film, but it is the choruses and the tune of the Toys R Us commercial.
Oh, really?
Um, you won't ever grow up, you won't make it past 6 because the
Yeah.
stupid,
Yeah, I mean, first
I don't
off,
want to grow up. I
just in
need
terms
clothes
of
or
the
anything.
in terms of wordplay, 2 foot tall demonic doll is a really fun
He will
little.
make you his bitch.
That's fun to say. That's I find
Mhm.
myself out of all the songs on the album, that's the one I find myself mumbling the most, if not outright singing.
You
And
never
it's
grow up.
really it's really just that one point. It's just walking around talking about a 2 foot tall demonic doll.
Mhm.
I think people think I'm like actually losing it, you know. Or
It
maybe
y
oh that fool,
yeah.
he's going through a hard time. He's talking
And
about
again,
dolls.
I think for me, it's mostly as someone who is a big fan, and I ended up reading the lyrics. I like reading the lyrics. The amount of references it makes that it's not too much into your face
Hmm.
of the child's play thing. Um, it really got to me because I don't know. It's captured the spirit of Chucky. I love this Chucky little cute things like Toys R Us. If it's because Chucky is a murderous doll.
Hmm.
Um,
He's a good guy. He's a good guy doll.
your friend until the end. I'm your good guy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. The end might
at
come a little
meant to be
sooner than
Andy.
uh yeah, no,
Uh,
look, I this is
but really, what sold it to me
mhm.
most is the bridge that did lead to the Ade
Yeah.
Dewey Dambula, which is, and once he's planted his seed, Chucky,
Yeah, yeah.
you'll know your life is uprooted because safety's not guaranteed. Stitched back together, it seems, by the evil bride of his dreams. And for me, I'm like, oh, that's more of a franchise type thing. And I love The Bride of Chucky. Actually, was the first movie to get me into Chucky
Really? So you're a Bride fan.
because I did not know it was called Child's Play, so I watched Bride of Chucky first. And the Heidi Ho bitch, the the music video. I think it's just
Well,
even
and
without
keep in mind,
the video,
let's not factor in the music videos just
yeah,
because it's kind of
it
unfair to
could
the
be.
songs that don't have music
Yeah,
videos.
no, but as you
Uh
see, I have a song that is. Yeah. But anyways, um,
yeah,
it's
that's
just
fair.
it's the up. It's like the vibe. I can feel myself jamming a lot. I put on this song on repeat for so long, and it still has not gone down
So
for me.
you have a jam sesh to this one. You go
Yeah, I've
you get
literally
your jam
spent
buddies and
like
go to the
3 hours with
jam house.
this on repeat, and it still has not gotten tired of me.
All right. It's got not
Like,
gotten tired of you.
well, you know what I mean. I'm not growing tired.
You and Chucky are you're
We're,
close.
we're we're homies, as you know, he's not a monster, from the Chucky TV series. He may approve of murder, but
I
transphobia, nah.
I would say he is definitively a monster. I would say once you start chasing people around with knives,
He's not a monster.
I think you become a monster at that point. Um,
But
but
yeah, I'm done. I could talk about this song, Chucky
yeah,
all
yeah.
day.
It's
Um,
look, it's a song that very easily could have gone up as high as 5 for me. It's not gonna go higher than 5. I can't really in my head. I can't put it ahead of any of
mhm.
the top 4 for me, but I could easily put it as high as 5 and not really feel bad about it.
I
Uh,
think it's just for me. It's because I love the Chucky franchise, and for me, this fed everything
well, and
as
you know, it
Chucky.
does show there is implicit bias within this. So you're a big fan, and we're not going to get to covering the box yet. We're gonna wait. That's gonna be 10th. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm a big Hellraiser fan, so
Mhm.
the fact that they did a Hellraiser song, it is interesting. It both helps and hurts that song, right? Because
Mhm.
you have the part of you that is holding it to a higher standard, but there's also the part of you that if it so much as meets that standard without exceeding it, if it just meets it, it's going to seem all that much better.
Mhm.
So the fact that you're a big Child's Play fan, and by the way, I want to clarify, I haven't said anything about Child's Play. I like it. I think that Child's Play is it's kind of like a junk food franchise, like so many slasher
Yeah.
franchises are. In fact, almost all of them. But
It
you
became
know,
so campy as fuck.
it's
It's kind of
but you
like,
know, I think
yeah.
actually some of its better films are the ones that have been done on like a shoestring budget.
Oh
And
yeah,
the
no.
gore has really never slipped. So I like it. We're gonna move on to shower scene, assault and batteries. You
Mhm.
know, for you, probably 9, 10 out of 10, somewhere in there. For me, I give it more like a 7. I like it. I think it was really good.
Yeah.
But next up, we have Shower Scene, which was one of them that when the track list got leaked, everybody knew exactly what song was being covered there. And
Yeah.
if you
Well,
want
it's the
to,
iconic Psycho.
well, if you want to talk about, if you want to talk about songs that come with pressure, you're covering probably the most important horror film in history.
Mhm.
Predominantly because it was the first one to have a flushing toilet, which opened all kinds of doors for toilets in Hollywood. But
Mhm.
this was first off, this was like when they did a Jaws song on Silver Scream. Uh, you knew, you knew more so than any other song on this album they were going to have to play the famous music cue from Psycho.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
god, they played it so well.
and this one is kind of interesting. They went almost the alternative route to what they did from Rocking the Boat. Whereas Rocking the Boat, once they broke out the iconic Jaws theme,
Mhm.
that was the heart of the song. That
Mhm.
was that was the big moment. Is oh shit, they're doing the dun
Dun-dun.
dun. Yeah, you finally got that moment, and it's like they're doing it. Because I remember listening to it for the first time, kind of going in blind. I did not know if they were going to do it. I thought they had to, but I didn't think they would because I didn't know
Mhm.
legally if they could. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of things with it legally why I see certain things weren't
so
included in certain songs.
yeah, so absolutely fantastic use of the iconic Psycho score here,
Mhm.
and this one for me is really telling that this is also I've been saying the rankings for album. You put it at 5, I put it at 7. So this is one of our closer ones. This is separated by 2 ranking spots. Uh,
Yeah.
this to me is telling of the album's quality. That this is what I view as kind of the middle ground, uh, because this is a damn good middle ground.
Mhm. It's really good. Like, it was shower scene was again like I could switch Rash the Chosen and Sour Scene like back and forth
Hmm.
because they're really good. I I f- the chorus is really catchy again. Like it has a very pop punky sound with it. They don't do as many screams with this, do they?
No,
If I
not really. I mean, you do get the iconic. So have you seen Psycho?
yeah, I did have seen
Yeah,
Psycho,
okay.
but it's
So
been a
so the
long
moment
time.
where they see the mother's corpse,
Mhm.
and you get that screaming sound effect, you get that in there, and it's just I know that's
Mhm.
not Spencer Charnas doing the scream, it's the scream from Psycho or somebody doing, an approximation of that. But
Mhm.
you want to use a scream effectively. That was cool. I was glad that not only did they include the iconic score, but they actually got the scream in there too, which is
And I feel like,
just
unlike
chef's
Rock the
kiss.
Boat, instead of just ripping it straight up, like, like ripping it mostly straight up to me, um, I
That's not
like
fair.
that
They
it
they they did it on Rocking the Boat. They did it on an electric guitar.
yeah, I don't know about oh, I did not know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, instead of like an orchestral.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. At least as I understand, I thought they had done an electric guitar to do the Jaws theme for.
I don't know how they did the shower scene. That I think that might have been a vocal thing, but at the same time, Dan Sugarman is a beautiful guitarist. Let's give props, not
Absolutely.
just to Spencer, but to Dan Sugarman. Let's,
Oh yeah.
you
Well,
know,
obviously, some bands it tends to be that the lead singer gets the most credit. And how could you not with Spencer being the lead actor in all the music videos and all that. And he's always most prominent on like the album artworks and all that. Well, I say that, but that's actually not true. It was really just I'd say he was the most prominent on Silver Scream. But
Dan Sugarman. I think I'm like, I could see him doing that in guitar for some reason, especially with what he did for Funeral Derangements. Talk about later. Um,
which
but
is
yeah,
I don't know this. I'm trying to do
I'll tell you when we
quick.
get there.
I'm trying to do a quick look. I think that's the only one that we actually had match up. New.
Yeah,
Um, but anyway, yeah. So shower scene. Well, you say talk about later. So the next one on the track list is number 6. So
yeah, it is.
let's hey let's get into it.
Let's just get into
Let's
it.
talk about some Pet Cemetery. let's
Oh my god,
let's
it.
oh
If
my
you want a
gosh.
catchy ass fucking anthem chorus,
Okay, so what's funny though that you mentioned the chorus, right?
yeah,
I made a couple notes, like I said, for 5 of the songs. I was gonna do it for all of them, and I ran out of time because
I
school and
didn't make
papers and
any notes.
whatnot.
This is all at the top of
The
my head.
first note I made for Funeral Arrangements is this song is, and then I italicized so much more than just a catchy chorus. That was
It is.
that was the first note I put in there. They firstly, you did claps for what's his name, the guitarist. I'm not
Dan
as
Sugarman.
Sugarman. You did claps for Sugarman. I gotta give props to the whole band for
Oh yeah.
condensing the entire plot. Pet Cemetery, a bit of a convoluted book, into a song while keeping it like you can follow the events of the story even if you've never seen it and can kind of tell
Mhm,
what's happening there. Um,
mhm.
I love what an inspired choice to have Judd Crandall the character. The Judd Crandall's "Dead is better" line worked into the song so frequently.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it's so good.
yeah,
Oh, and then they do their own Dead is Better as well, like,
yeah. Judd Crandall
to
is
make it
also
more
the
demonic.
easily the best part of the film,
Mhm.
which was all right. Yeah, it's another case of the book was better.
Oh, yeah, no,
Sometimes the book is
my best
better.
friend Maggie is a
Uh,
huge fan of the book, and so when I introduced her to this song, she was reading it, like, as a book standpoint, and she said it
yeah,
holds up to her.
oh, it's
Um,
amazing. The only shame is, unless I missed it, no mention of a Wendigo, which didn't make the movie either.
that's
Um, but it is
disappointing.
in the book, so kind of interesting that they skipped over the Wendigo. But you know what? I'm sure somebody could point out, but this is actually
Mhm,
this one line is actually a reference. And you know what? Fair enough. They probably
mhm.
did throw something in there that I missed. But yeah, wow.
I
This is
think
the one
that
that I have to limit myself because I'll talk all day about this one.
I th there's one thing I do wanna point out. I think to me, the song is great as a whole. There's so many best part, but the first thing I think of when I hear the song is in the beginning, during the chorus, not chorus, but the first verse when he's screaming Gage with the
Mm-hmm.
drums, with the guitar, and the like blue, it's like bloody murder of like you could feel that like scream of like a father seeing a truck.
Watching an 18-wheeler hit his child. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
exactly. And then like the sounds of the guitar just having that the screeching, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And then that's one thing I'm like, "Oh my god, Dan Sugarman." Is because that that thing there, the screeching, that was all Dan.
Mm-hmm.
There was no sound effects. That was all Dan on the guitar.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give them credit for getting me to go from "oh no, little boy" to like fist in the air. Don't give up.
Uh,
It's
Don't let
to
go.
to go from those two emotions so rapidly. Maybe it says something either about their talent or about me as a person, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna hover on that.
But
But
it
in terms of every
mhm,
album, you have to pick what are our singles gonna be to get people hyped for this.
funeral
And
derangement, and I think
Funeral
it also
Derangements was a fantastic choice.
and I remember telling you on a previous thing, I feel like funeral derangements really brought back old Ice Nine Kills
Yeah, oh,
with this.
this one I listened to, and if you had told me, yeah, they had to cut this from every trick in the
Mhm.
book because of like time requirements, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
no.
yeah, no, that's fair. I could see that.
It's
Funeral
so good.
Arrangements was to me like peak Ice Nine Kills metalcore. That was them in their element.
Honestly, funeral derangements some days might hit number 1 to me.
Yeah,
Like, it's
it's
gonna always be in my top 3 with Assault and Batteries and Farewell to Flesh, but it will always
yeah, no,
hit.
I completely agree. It's we both have it at number 3, but I think we could also both agree that it's as good as this album gets. This
It's
is
so good. Yeah.
if you're here for some Ice Nine Kills, this is Ice Nine Kills. Uh, which ironically, you want to talk about transitions? That leads us into the next one, where some people have been pretty harsh on this next song. Excuse me, I had to burp because I may be a professional, but I'm still human.
Yeah.
Um, Rainy Day, which we talked about how cool it'd be if they did an album dedicated to video games. So kind of a shame that by putting Resi in here already, it
Yeah.
seems like maybe that's not going to happen. Um, because wow,
Mhm.
you knocked out a big franchise to go. But I mean, it is worth pointing out Resident Evil has movies
Mhm.
if we choose to acknowledge them. Uh,
I Can I tell you something funny?
if we're letting them out of the corner, yeah.
So, Rainy Day was originally my number 13 spot,
Hmm.
but it knocked
The box.
it knocked the box because I still find myself singing along to it, even though to me it is really poppy. Like
Mm.
it is, and it feels weird. I don't know. That's what it doesn't feel like Ice Nine Kills. I could tell this is a very radio friendly song. Same to like with Resident Evil movies compared to like the Resident Evil games.
I
I
say
feel like they were
I would
more.
say that Resident Evil 7 and 8, as far as games are concerned, look, we could do a whole episode talking about the Resi games. I would say that 7 and 8 really, actually, I'm going to go back and say 5, 6, 7, and 8 have all really leaned into
Hmm.
trying to tap into what's kind of culturally popular. Um, Not to
Hmm.
imply that the Resi's 1 through 4 were all tremendously popular. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
that. It's
well,
it's just that it feels to me 5 through 8 have tried actively to be
movies were just very, like, Hollywood-esque
um
to me,
but
and
I think people so here's my thing with Rainy Day, right? It's
mhm.
not so much a tribute to Resident Evil, which I think some people dislike, and I get that.
Oh, yeah,
Be-
that's not why I don't like
but
it.
it's more a tribute to video games. It has a
Mhm,
video. It almost sounds like the band I Fight Dragons, like it. Which, if you're
mhm,
familiar with them, they do a lot of video game sound effects and all that they do, and they're fun. They're a fun band. But it didn't end up being a love letter to Umbrella or to Mr. X or Nemesis or
mhm,
the Redfields. What it ended up being was more just like a fun video game centric soundtrack.
mhm.
And again, I keep forgetting to say where we placed these. I put it at 10, you put it at 12. So it didn't blow either of us away. However, judging by what you've said, I think I'm higher on it than you are because at the end of the
Yeah,
day, I do like Rainy Day.
mhm.
I think it's a
I don't
fun
think
song.
it's a bad song, I just don't like it as an Ice Nine Kills song, but I like it as a song.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Is that
mean,
weird to
I
say?
what I would compare it to
Mhm.
if I because I think everything about this album is going to it's literally called the Silver Scream too. It's going to be compared to the Silver Scream.
Are you gonna
I
compare it to Grave Mistake?
No, I liked Grave
Oh,
Mistake. I thought that was fine.
I love Grave
I would
Mistake.
compare it to Savages, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
a radio friendly song that was fine. It was but
Mhm,
it goes deeper than that because Savages to me did not really feel like much of a love letter to Texas Chainsaw. It was more of just almost a generic rock song.
mhm,
Uh, it wasn't nearly as twisted as the subject matter it was handling. Even though I do appreciate like the sound effects they throw in at the very beginning of the old timey camera noises and all that for Savages. But it's Savages actually liked the acoustic version more. But
mhm.
Rainy Day to me is one that it's not likely to be anybody's favorite song, but I don't know. I've seen, you go to the comments on like the YouTube video and all that. Some people really don't like this song, and that was
Mhm,
not my takeaway. I enjoyed it. It is
mhm.
catchy. It's just not one that sticks with you. It's
Yeah.
just not a super memorable song. Uh, I do like, again, like the video game, the kind of text to speech, like "Game over, you died." Stuff like that's pretty
And
fun.
the fun part of it incorporating the meme into the song of "Run, do 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 do
Yeah,
do." Yeah,
exactly.
that was fun.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know what would have made this my number one song though?
What?
Is if they would have included references to the terrible dialogue from the original Resi. Uh,
Oh, that would funny.
Whoa, you were almost a Jill sandwich. If they would have included something from that
Oh,
instantly
yeah.
vaults it to number one. But again, it didn't end up feeling like a Resi tribute. It was more just, hey, aren't video games fun? Which, yes, they are.
Mhm.
Too
I
fun.
I don't know. Yeah, as a Resident Evil song, I don't it's not good, but as a video game song, yeah, I can see what
Anyways,
you mean.
so you talk about personal biases you bring into it. Resi 2 is one of my favorite, especially the remake. The
Mhm,
rare instance where the remake's better than the original. I think video games have the ability to do that better than like
mhm.
movies more often than not. Um,
I also
they
can't
didn't
speak
really
because
reference Resi 2, which was a bit of a letdown. But
yeah.
they didn't have to. It's not like it was that or bust. But again, they didn't
Mhm,
include the bad dialogue from one. They didn't include nothing but little nods. I mean, they talk about
mhm,
like the red and white. That's obviously Umbrella. But again, you could have told me it had nothing to do with Resi, and I'd be
mhm,
like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
mhm.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to was Hip
Hip
to Be Scared? Was that their
Fair.
first single from this album?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the
so
first single with music video released for
uh
Welcome to Horrorwood.
so this one this was one that I'm trying to look. Let's see. Where okay, you put Hip to Be Scared at 9 and I put it at 5, but again, it's in that gray zone for me where could it have been higher? Yeah. Could it have been
This
lower? Yeah. Well, it could have been higher? No, not really. Could it have been lower? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so this is in the gray zone for me. This song got me to watch American Psycho actually
Mhm.
because I was curious about it and everything. And then I really did I love Hip to Be Scared. as Assault and Batteries. I love it for all the references it makes to the film. If you're an
Hmm.
American Psycho fan, it's gonna be great for you. Hip to Be Scared, first single, of course, I really loved it, but then other singles came in, and it
Hmm.
just got lowered to me.
Well, so
It's a good
it's
song, but I just
it suffers to me from a weak chorus. I think that the
mhm.
chorus does not do it a lot of favors. It's a,
No.
it's kind of, I mean, my harshest criticism we're getting here, as with like Welcome to Horrorwood, is like it's fine. It's the chorus is fine, but
Mhm.
honestly, this song's appeal to me is Spencer Charnas speaking like Patrick Bateman.
Oh my god,
Um,
that was the
you know
best
the
part
I have
of
to
the
return some
song.
videotapes. Like I love that.
That whole scene for
This
just Hip to Be Squared.
this this was a decent song, really really elevated by
Mhm.
the hip to be square section, uh,
Mhm.
which is probably the most iconic scene in American Psycho.
It
Um,
really is.
and yeah, first off, American Psycho is a divisive film. Some people really, really like it, and some people think it's just dumb as hell. I think that in a way, in a way, so Hip to Be Scared is a song of high quality, but I think with its single status and all that, and just how kind of fun it is,
Mhm.
it's likely to be overrated by casual fans, which ironically makes it the perfect tribute to American Psycho.
Oh, yeah, no.
Something that's good, but probably overrated by people who don't who don't who aren't super into horror
Mhm.
in the same way. I think if you're not super into like Ice Nine Kills and all this, you might from the outside be like, oh, that's one of their better songs. In their grand scheme of things, like in their whole catalog, it's not.
No,
But
it's not.
it's a good song. It's a good one. I like it.
I think if it didn't include if it didn't include that whole Hip to Be Squared section, it I and or any of the Patrick, Bateman,
Hmm.
stuff with it, I don't think it would have been as good of a song.
No, I completely agree. If you take that out,
It's
it
it's
falls, it drops precipitously without that really fun little section where they get the riff from Hip to Be Square, and you get the only thing
mhm.
I'm not as big on is like the Hey Paul he hits is too aggressive, because in the movie you get this
Hey,
really fun
Paul.
Hey Paul like he's got this man. It's actually more unsettling because of how goofy he's being.
Hey,
um
Paul, and then just
yeah,
and then he screams.
yeah, so I
That's what you get
yeah,
for fucking stealing, you
yeah,
know?
it's I don't know. I think we're pretty much in agreement on this one. It's fine. It
Yeah, it's
could have
fine.
it could have been so much
Another
worse.
critique of mine, which is not the fault of that, it took you so long to realize Jacoby Shaddix is on this song.
Yeah, and here's my thing, right? I grew up a big Papa Roach fan. I don't
Mhm.
really dig modern day Papa Roach, even though they're going on tour with Hollywood. But so I'll be there. But
I'll be there, be square,
I'll
hip
be
to be
there.
squared.
I loved you and Hip to Be Scared. My favorite song, really. Um, I will kiss ass like no other. I'm a tough guy until you take my keyboard away. But it's yeah, I don't know. I guess it's why do I even bring Jacoby in? Just such a minor addition, which I guess kind of conversely, right? We talk about Ice Nine Kills, Jacoby Shea. I say they're about to go on tour with Hollywood Undead, right? Hollywood Undead did a song. They had Spencer Charnas and Jacoby Shadix come in, and they
Oh,
played
they did?
massive, yeah, and they had massive roles, both of them. Spencer Charnas got the first, I think, two choruses of the song before the lead singer of HU, Danny, took the final one.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
listen to that. Send that to me later.
yeah, yeah, and then Jacoby Shadix gets a whole verse where he gets to do his kind of
Mhm,
rap thing he does. Um, and when you bring in a kind of recognized artist, you expect them to have a bigger
mhm.
role. So yeah, it was a thing where it's like featuring Jacoby Shadix. I was like, oh, they added him. You're like, no, he's been in it from the beginning. I was like, what?
Yeah, but I
What?
think what does not help is so Jacoby Shaddix was the final chorus as well as the second chorus where they added the hold my calls, I'll kill them all.
Hmm.
When it gets to that register and that type of stuff, Jacoby and Spencer can sound so
They
similar.
can. It's and
And
now
I think
that I know to listen for it, I absolutely
mhm.
hear it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was not something that was obvious to me at first.
Mhm.
Um,
But
yeah,
that's also, I don't blame them for that because it's not their fault that
yeah. No,
Jacoby
it's
and Spencer have a similar voice in that register would they get went to. He was in the music video, which that you wouldn't that's when you're like, "I
which
can't believe I you
how fun is
know."
that to it's like, hey, we want you to come do a an American Psycho tribute. It's like, who do you want me to play? Paul Allen. uh, like, hey, are we good guys? Are we you want me to be Paul Allen, the guy murdered by an axe and then
I mean, it's
dragged through the
very
lobby
funny
and
because Jared
disintegrated? Like,
Leto was Paul
mm-hmm.
and that and yeah.
Yeah, honestly, they could have gotten Jared Leto. Like, in
Jared Leto would
hindsight,
have been all over it.
that would have been hilarious just because
It
you
would
would
have
have
been so funny
I
if they
mean,
had a
you
feature
what a
Jared
rare
Leto.
opportunity to have a guy from an iconic, I would call it a horror film, at least horror adjacent. Uh you have an actor from an iconic horror film who went on to be a singer. Like, you got to capitalize on that. It's nothing against Jacoby, but wow, I had never even thought of that. What a missed opportunity.
That would have been
Um
so good, honestly. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, why didn't they get Jared Leto?
yeah,
Because
that's
like I didn't
crazy.
even know Jared Leto was in it until I watched the film. Like,
Everybody's favorite Joker. Well,
anyways,
everybody's least favorite Joker killed by most
you know
people's favorite Batman. So
that isn't
the
my
circle
pick
of life.
of Joker, but you know what is my pick of song is
Oh
Take
my
Your
gosh.
Pick.
Oh my god. We're doing this. No, I like it. Okay, so take your pick. Corpse Grinder. We have Corpse Grinder in this one.
Mhm.
A band with whom I am definitely not familiar. Hold up, Paco
Cannibal Corpse.
climbed into my lap. So let's see. I put this one dead last 13th.
Mhm.
You were nicer to it. You put it at 8th, around the midway point. I don't have a lot to say about it, so I'll just say mine briefly and then let you elaborate. But for me, this almost death metal aesthetic, it's not for me. It's just not my genre. I've always
Mhm.
said that when it comes to metal, I'm on the lighter side of metal. I grew up on like new metal and one of my favorite genres would be symphonic metal, so give me Nightwish and shit like that. Um I'm just once stuff starts going too hardcore, I tap out. But, that doesn't mean it's a bad song. In fact, I
Mhm.
would say that from all accounts, what it's doing well. It's just not for me. And also, I think My Bloody Valentine is kind of a shit franchise. Uh, so you have so many things to pick from, and you chose that. And yeah. Okay, you go and say nice things about it, because I'm being mean now.
So yeah, I kind of guessed why this would be lower on your list is you're not really into like the very, very heavy metal or like death metal and such. Me, I actually in certain moods in mine, I like it, you know? I've delved into like heavier bands and such.
Hmm.
And I feel like if you are not a fan of really heavy metal or like heavy like that type of thing, take your pick. It's not going to be your song. But if you
Yeah.
are, yeah, it will get to your taste. Why it is an 8 is because it's one of those songs. If I'm not in the mood to listen to heavy metal, I will, you know, then it's not my favorite. But if I'm in the mood to listen to that song, it'll be much higher on the
Well,
list.
to me, take your pick is kind of like if somebody showed me the
Mhm.
latest Katy Perry album, which I don't know if she's made one with them. I have no idea. Um, and they're like, "Hey, what? Review this." It's like, dude, that shit was not made for me. Like,
Yeah,
that shit was
exactly.
not made with me in mind. Um,
And I think that's why again I put it higher is because
yeah,
that's
it's
not for
not
you.
made for me.
For
It's not
me,
my
I
genre.
like that type of stuff, which is this is where it gets into
We're getting into the fighting range here because
I don't think it's fighting
oh,
right now,
I'm about to
but I
fight.
know when it's gonna get
I'm
into
about to
fighting.
fight. We're about to go. I think we've said pretty much.
One
I
thing
think
I
that
do want
yeah,
to add,
yeah,
this was a better feature than Jacoby Shaddix and some of the other features because Corpse Grinder was in a lot of the song. He was a main part of the song.
yeah. Um,
That I had to add that. Like I think of it, this is the best feature, and I do find it funny. All the features are together.
yeah. It is funny how it's like they reached a certain part of the album, um,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, we
Mhm.
need some cameos. Hey, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we want to transition, the next one, actually, statistically, this isn't even a matter of opinion, just going off the differential. My favorite song and your least favorite song, The
Uh-huh.
Box. The Box. You opened
Mhm.
it, and I came. And Odori dried up. It was apparently we took it differently. But first off, I do want to acknowledge the biases, sorry, that are at play here. Two of them. Love Hellraiser. Hellraiser, the original, top 5 horror movie for me. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, and then Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King. I was very excited that he was. I was very excited he was included, and I did not expect it.
Mhm.
Um, well, yeah, there is something very funny. Ryan Kirby, Fit for a King, they're Christian metal. So to have him doing a verse, all hail the priest of hell,
I did
master of
not know Fit
sin,
for a King was,
it's a
uh
hilarious,
oh,
there's
that
something
makes it
so
interesting.
wonderful about it. Um, Fit for a King's awesome. They really do well what they do. And
Mhm.
yeah, so to have
I
him
think
in
that's
here, all hail the priest of hell, it's very funny from just understanding who the players are standpoint. But you know, I'm gonna let you say your piece. I think we can go back and forth on this one a little more than we have on some, but I think the tricky thing about covering Hellraiser
Mhm.
is the series has a very famous style to its music, but it lacks a go-to score in the vein of Jaws or Psycho or Saw.
Yeah.
With Saw, it's like, yeah, you're gonna do the dun 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 dun. You're gonna Hello Zeb.
Da-na-na,
It's called.
da-na-na,
Some of these
da-na-na-na.
series have a specific riff that you can do, and it's like, oh shit, they
Mhm.
did the thing. Hellraiser, they have a vibe, not a riff. They have a vibe they go for.
Yeah.
Um, so go on, and before I gush about what I really liked about it, tell
Mhm.
me tell me why you hate it, me, and also probably like little children.
So there's no, like, hatred with this album, to
Oh
be
damn,
quite
calm down,
honest.
bring it down some. Wow, what's the
Um,
anger?
I think what will also separate it is I've only seen Hellraiser once, and that was a long time ago. I have not delved into anything Hellraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And so with anything with like the anything with that would make
Like
you really have
references
to
or any of
sit,
that, yeah.
references would not get to me, similar to like assault and batteries for me get to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just it was the one song that I could find myself skipping because the sound was okay to me.
Mm.
Like, well, I think it does not help where it's placed. Like after Take Your Pick.
Oh, see, and you want to talk about personal biases coming in. It's
Mhm.
placed right after the one song in the album I consistently skip. So it's like
Yeah,
when I
no,
was
so
listening through the album, because I did the like 1 to 14 a couple of times, because when I like an album, I like to try to take in the full
yeah.
experience when I can.
Mhm.
So to finish up Take Your Pick, which is not my song, and then go to like literally anything else, it's like hell yeah.
Yeah, and for
Hell
me,
yeah.
Take Your
Um,
Pick was very like I was jamming as fuck, and then going to the box
mhm.
was very, I don't want to say underwhelming,
Okay, but
but you
here's my question. My question, right? How do you
but
not how do you not lose your mind at the part, the sadist, the sinners, the absent of heart, on
I
his
mean it's a
command
cool
will
part.
tear your soul apart. Like, oh my fucking, I get choked. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. I get goosebumps when they do that part, because you want to talk about like references to the film.
Mhm.
Kirsty Cotton's like, ah, no, he's still alive. I can show you where he is. And the Cenobites,
Mhm.
they tell her, if you're lying to us, we'll tear your soul apart. And isn't that awesome? Pinhead has such a cool voice.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's just for me again, like I think it also just goes with placement of the album. Like Take Your Pick would be a song you skip, so it'd be perfect with Hip to Be Scared. But for me, I love Take Your Pick. I don't skip
mhm.
it.
Yeah, I
And
don't know. It's
going from that to that very isn't I do find it cool. I did not know Ryan Kirby was a Christian band singer, which that's actually
kind of
kind of
funny.
like
Yeah.
makes me snort and be like, "Huh, okay." out of that irony, I really like it, but the reason why it Rainy Day in the Box, I was really hard for me to choose what was gonna be last place, and the
Hmm.
reason why, again, Rainy Day is above the box is because I just don't find myself singing along to the box as much.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
will sing
fine.
along
It's
to it, but I just don't jam to it.
what I
However,
yeah.
I could find myself technically speaking, I do think the box is a better song than Rainy Day. I took singability to it and me wanting to sing out loud because I am a
Yeah.
person that will sing along a
Oh
lot.
yeah, I definitely get into it. One reason I like the box so much is it's one that I heard it and I was like, damn, I've got to hear this live. Um, it was one that, especially that chorus to me, is
Mhm,
bombastic in the best way possible.
mhm,
Um, I don't know, it's something, bow to the needles and pins, like all of that. Oh, it's so good. It's
mhm. It's a
again,
pretty good
I'm a
chorus.
I'm
I
a
just
I'm a big Hellraiser guy. It was going to be very hard for this to not at least be in the top half for me.
yeah.
Um,
Same with like Assault and Battery for me.
so yeah, I love the box. It almost wasn't my number one,
Mhm,
but yeah, at lowest it was going to be 4. And
mhm.
again, you could on the right day, my top 4, I could switch them
Oh
around.
yeah. There's
Um,
a lot of these songs like I could switch around depending on my mood.
so kind of leading into that, number 11, The Fly, not The Fly, sorry, Fly, which was
FLY.
needlessly made into an acronym, stands for
Mhm,
nothing. That's not really an acronym.
mhm.
Um, there is probably no song on the album that I had a harder time placing.
The Fly was a song when I first heard it, I was like, "This is okay," but it has really grown on me as I keep listening to this song, like, listening to this album, and it took really hard because I was struggling between Hip to Be Scared and Fly
Hmm.
because Fly was flying above, like, that was rising
Yeah,
for me.
well, for me, it has probably the catchiest chorus of
It's
any
so
of
good.
them,
I won't
and
deny, the
that's
way.
where I thought
Mhm,
that the verses were pretty unremarkable when
mhm.
compared to most of what's on here.
It's the
Uh,
chorus that
but
really.
yeah, it's gosh, I just that chorus is such a bop. You find
Mhm.
yourself nodding along to it, singing along with it. Also, Jeff Goldblum's great, so yeah, let me think about The Fly
Yeah,
some more. Who doesn't like Jeff Goldblum? But
and that also is another film, like how we stated, the shower scene, like, it's not as iconic as, like, or people know of the Fly movie,
mhm.
but it's not as, like, everyone's, you gotta watch it, like,
Well, it's
but
one of
it
the
is
most
one of
yeah.
those that did shape horror
Well, it's one
films.
of the best body horror films out there.
Exactly, like,
And
it's one of those, or like, monster of, like, the monster films almost, you could say, body horror
yeah.
monster film. So I think it was cool that they included The Fly because The Fly is a well-known but not as talked about thing with casual fans
Mm.
of horror. No, like we know that it's iconic and it really shaped it along with like, like Swamp Thing, and all
I
that
I
type of
would
stuff
I
with
would put The Fly up there with um The Thing, John
Mm.
Carpenter's The Thing, and also the previously mentioned Hellraiser as being some of my favorite practical body horror.
Oh
Um
yeah, no, it's oh my.
it's really really high quality.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I think we kind of so I put Fly at 6, you put it at 10. I think we both
I
agree
could.
it's a catchy song, even though I would say as we're talking, ooh, realistically, I'm starting to kind of wish I'd put it a little more down, like at 9 or something, because
Mhm.
over time, the catchiness of a song starts to mean less, and
Mhm.
almost everything else starts to mean more. So,
I think it's a
I
nice palette cleanser for the album.
of course you would. It came after your least favorite. You went from your least favorite song to that. It's like it's literally the situation I had with Take Your Pick. It's like, well, thank goodness that's over. Hey, here's another song. Uh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so yeah, it kind of shows you, when you get to go from one you don't like to one that you do, it really makes
Mhm,
you appreciate the one you do like. It's kind of I don't know. It's like, so imagine you're walking down the street, like person one punches you in the face, and then person two just doesn't touch you. Like, you're gonna like person two just irrationally like them more on account of not punching you in the face, right? Like, so it's kind of on account of not offending my ears with your dirty, dirty pinhead voice. You you like fly, which is funny that we're saying that when actually I put it higher than you did, but I do think that if I were to redo my rankings, I'd only have it probably one higher than you because I'd probably move it down to 9. Just because talking about rash decisions, shower scene, and Salt and Batteries, it's like, damn, those were good songs.
They're really good.
Now,
so I'm actually I'm gonna do something, not in script, but as we keep talking about the album, I've been thinking throughout. As I said, 4 and 8 were my difficult ones. I have decided to do a live change.
We have a trade in the draft here.
And I wanted to wait before we got into it. Are you ready? I will put, when I think about it, Worst Vacation is so much better than Welcome to Horrorwood.
They are so damn lucky I like Worst Vacation in spite of that fucking title. they are so
if I have to say, Welcome to Horrorwood's good, but if I had to say 4, 5, and 6 could be, all of these could be in my top 5. Worst Vacation, I know I have it lower, but it's great.
Yeah, so to break out the, if a person is really into French culture, they're a Francophile, and if they're really into English culture, they're an Anglophile. I would be what's considered a Germanophile. I love German culture. So when you have this mad scientist coming in with his very fun German voice,
on this trip there are no survivors.
Stupid kid, it's not about the money. It's stay in your country. It's you have this hilariously evil German, and the evil German is an old trope, but it's a fun one.
Make you
my bitch. That's one reason it was my second favorite song. Was it's such a fun song. Which by the way, Hostel is not a fun movie.
I actually have not seen Hostel.
It's torture porn. It's like, do you like to watch people suffer? Well, you're gonna love this. But yeah, so they took that and they're like, what if we made it really fun though? Like, what if we made it like an amusement park?
I mean, technically, for the people doing the killing, that was really fun for them.
Okay, yeah, you got a point.
This is what's in their head when they're doing this shit. This is what they're jamming to, is this song.
They just hear, yeah. And you start off with that, with the what is it, the siren.
Oh my god,
it instantly gives the song this kind of
I think it helps that, again, The Fly in the Box, of which are more like mellow songs, and Worst Vacation brings it back.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I mean, I think that this one's kind of like The Box for me, where it's like, wow, it's really a layup. Of course I'm going to be into this. But yeah, it wasn't dealing with a film I'm really crazy about, so I think that all things considered, Worst Vacation, which okay, so
was not the worst song.
I just 1, 2, 3, die. Like, it's funny because die, D-I-E, is also a word in German. It's just pronounced D. So essentially they said 1, 2, 3, the. And, it's it loses something there, but not really, because, I mean, obviously it's an English song. Yeah, no, it's a super fun song, and I knew from the second I heard 1, 2, 3, die, it's like, they're gonna have fun with this. I don't actually know who they got to be the German scientist, but
I don't know either. I'm wondering who is the German scientist.
Whatever they paid him, it was not enough.
He's so good.
Yeah, he was the high point of that song. Kind of
look it up for you while we're like live as you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's we can figure out who our dear German our Deutsche Freund is, but yeah, what a song. I put it at 2, but again, like I said, my top 4, any order works. I'm not super picky. I know my top 4. There's a hard cutoff after there. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed Worst Vacation or
So
Worst
if you want to give
Vacation.
a shout out to the German scientist, his
Hmm.
name is Robert Lindsay.
Robert Lindsay. Hey,
Um,
Herr
he is
Lindsay.
the he's a FX makeup artist. And he was on the Face Off competition show. Someone referred to him to Ink because his voice sounded perfect for the song.
Yeah, yeah. He's got the evil German thing down. I would say the evil German is matched in Hollywood only by the evil Russian. There's something about people with those types of accents that, which is kind of funny because like I've never met a German that was anything but like pleasant. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, the evil German is a kind of fun trope as long as you can enjoy it and not take it to mean, oh yeah, Germans are actually evil, because obviously doing that with any people group is a mistake. Um, yeah, it's a fun song. What a fun song. I mean, you want to talk, I said I could be here all day talking about funeral arrangements. I could be here for 2 days talking about this one. It's so fun, and it's a joy. It's a joy to listen to, and it still manages to go pretty hard. So I really enjoyed Worst Vacation. You knew I would.
Oh yeah, no. When I saw it and then I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is either gonna be number one or in the top three for him.
This is either going to be number 1 or 13th. This is he's either gonna
No, I didn't
love
even
it
think
or
he was
think
going to
it's
be 13th.
shisa. I don't give them credit for using the word shisa. To me,
It's so good.
it's too common of a word. As when everybody knows shisa, everybody knows what shisa means. Which I guess also kind of works, right? It's
Mhm.
yeah. Wow. Let's move on to another one that my number 4 song, but I considered it for number 1, and you're number 11, so big difference here.
Mhm.
Ex Mortis, which I was pretty. There's something kind of funny to it, right? You talk about the irony of like of a Christian artist doing "All Hail the Priest of Hell." In the same way, the humor to me about Ex Mortis is I really think they just took the line "groovy" and decided to make a groovy song. I really think that was the origin for it. I think they started with one concept and worked from there. And I'll be honest, this is the only song that that one frog like the "Hello my honey, hello my baby, hello my
Hello, my
ragtime
ragtime
gal."
gal.
This
Yeah.
song makes me dance like that. Like it's that kind of dancing. Like
Mhm.
this song is such a fucking bop. I'm into it. I'm a big fan. But you're not as impressed. And by the way, totally valid. Go on and explain it to me.
Yeah.
Let me
So
understand.
I'm kind of not shocked this is high up in your list because this was another song. I'm like, this is gonna be like top 3 or 5 for him because it does have that kind of southerny charm to it, and the
Yeah, I mean,
swing.
it does kind of feel almost like something out of like a
Hmm.
Louisiana bayou. Like
Oh yeah, no.
it's almost got like NOLA vibes to it. Like
Hmm.
I
And
hadn't
this is
really thought about that, but you're absolutely right. It almost
yeah.
feels like something a villain could have sang in like The Princess and the Frog.
Oh yeah, no. Like it's real. Like I'm not gonna say like Fly and Ex Mortis are I could differentiate, but Fly just has grown a little more for me, while Ex
Hmm.
Mortis has not. It's kind of just had its staying power for me. And there's just other songs that have made it better. However, it's a great song. I love that's the one thing like how I don't like Rainy Day because it's different style, you know.
Hmm.
Ex Mortis, it is a different style, but they do it really well to me. I feel
Yeah.
like this is, and they do the swing vibe. There's certain parts of it because there is certain songs that I listen to that also incorporate swing vibe that I
Hmm.
like more than Ex Mortis. Um, which does not help, with I unfortunately was also condoning in my head. Well, this type of swing vibe, um, it's good, but I like it in other songs by other bands so far. But that doesn't mean I don't like it. I still
But
swing to it. It's catchy.
do those other bands
Mhm.
sample lines from the legendary Bruce Campbell, Ashley J. Williams? I
Mhm.
mean, I knew, I knew he was going to say "swallow this"
Groovy.
at some point. I knew
Yeah,
he was
but you
going to. I didn't know they would actually have Bruce Campbell's voice line.
yeah,
I thought it'd be Spencer doing it. So to hear
yeah.
Bruce Campbell, who's one of
I do like
apparently the
the,
coolest guys in Hollywood.
the chugging, like, gun sound
Yeah.
that they kind of had with that was pretty cool. Again, this is a song, I put it low, but that doesn't mean I don't like it.
Well,
Unlike
it sounds to me like there's a bit of a cutoff. Fly and
mhm.
Ex Mortis, a bit of a cutoff between those two and Rainy Day in the Box for you.
Yeah, there is because I find myself growingly like the songs, but The Fly is growing more with liking. Whereas Ex Mortis is just kind of like I like it. It hasn't grown high for me like others,
Hmm.
but I like it. I think Ex Mortis stylistic change from Ice Nine Kills is a lot better than Rainy Day for me. And I like the fun that they had in the
Yeah,
song.
and
It is
you know, for me, I do like it when an album can kind of take you different places.
mhm.
So I like
And I
that
do
they did a
too.
carefree, goofy song. Which, by the way, they had two options, right? The original
Mhm.
Evil Dead and the remake were both very dour, serious affairs. And
Weren't
then,
they also, like, someplace in the South too, place the
no, they
Evil
were in
Dead?
Michigan. They were set in
Okay, yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah, okay, that's north.
And then Evil Dead 2 and Army of the Dead were both very goofy, almost
Mhm.
slapstick horror.
I'm glad
And
they went that way
I'm
because a
glad they
lot
did
of
too, because nobody, if your favorite Evil Dead film is the
is
original, it's
you're
like
wrong.
you're wrong. You're allowed to like the remake the most because people don't give it credit. The remake was genuinely pretty chilling.
Mhm. Oh my god, the remake, I actually saw the remake before the original.
But to me, if you're saying, hey, Will, you get to go watch one of the Evil Dead movies. I'm picking Evil Dead 2 or
Yeah,
not Army of
because
the
it's
Dead. It's Army of Darkness is what the third one's called.
mhm.
Also, I watched Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV show. It was not great, but I I'm kind of a sucker for like anything Bruce Campbell does, so I watched it because I wanted
Mhm.
more of him. But yeah, you know, I mean, what a fun song. I think that's the takeaway, right? It's a fun song.
It's a really fun song, and just because it is lower on my list
Hmm.
does not mean it's a bad song. The only songs, again, that I was like, yeah, these are my bottom 2 are Rainy Day in the Box.
Oh, sorry. Dead by Daylight's kind of ruined that for me. Like, box. You opened it, and I
I
came.
came.
Hey, thanks, man.
I
It's,
know.
hey, I didn't. I guess that's why you play with the box, right? But
Alright,
anywho,
have fun playing
farewell
with your
to
box in your own room.
Flesh. It's Candyman time. Which, if you want to talk about you want to talk about like having it made in terms of how much I like the original film. I
Mhm,
love Candyman. Now,
mhm.
I hate the sequels. I think it's one of the few ones where I can't even get like enjoyment in an ironic sense
What
out of the
about the
sequels. I
one that
think the
came out
sequels are
this
bad.
year? Did
I didn't
you
see
watch
that one.
that?
I've yet to see that one.
I honestly, I recommend seeing this year's Candyman
No, I'll
because
give it a watch at some point. It's just a matter of like it coming on a streaming service or something.
I think it is. I can let you know later for you.
But you know, the original Candyman is one of the better horror movies, at least in the slasher genre.
Mhm,
Very, very well made film. But of course, we're not reviewing the film. And I said Fly was probably my toughest one to place. Farewell to Flesh was the second hardest because at at its best, I put it somewhere up in the 6 to 7 range. At its worst, I put it where I did at 12. And
mhm.
ultimately, the reason I put it at 12 was because I liked the songs ahead of it enough that I was unsure about it, so I didn't want to put it there and then in time come to find that I didn't like it as much as maybe I did in that passing moment. Um that's not to say I don't like it. I do like a good, it's almost a ballad. And you know, usually I'm a ballad guy. You can win me with a good ballad. So,
It has very Metallica vibes with certain aspects of it, I guess you could say, with how it has, like,
but not like
the ballad to the
not thrash Metallica.
nah, I'm also not a fan of Metallica, and it's funny that I say it has Metallica vibes or, like, that type of old thing when I put it as my number 1.
Metallica goes hard. I don't know where Metallica hate comes from, but I don't know where we're bashing.
Mhm.
You've heard one, right? That's a great song.
Oh, yeah, it's a great song. I'm still not a fan of Metallica.
Oh, okay. You a big Napster fan?
Huh?
Napster, the music, the music sharing website back in the early 2000s that
I
Metallica
never
sued,
used
and they
I never used
basically
Napster.
they basically took it down, which was pretty greedy, pretty dick move. But yeah,
Yeah, I
whatever.
never
Man.
used Napster.
Anyway, we're not on a Metallica thing. We're on "Farewell to Flesh," uh, which is your favorite song. So
It is.
go on. Tell me
It
where
is my
the
favorite song
tell me where.
because this is a weird word to say. It's the most colorful song for
Mm,
me. It is I love the flow of this song. I love that it went ballad and then it went to um that height, you know?
mm-hmm,
I think that was perfectly timed. I was a little bit like, "Oh, okay, it's a ballad," but when it brought in, I was like, "Oh." But as someone who recently has became a Candyman fan
mm-hmm.
of the original and the new 2020, I don't think of the other ones because those
They're
aren't as
shit,
valid to
awful.
me. Um,
They're
that's why
bad,
I
and they
recommend
should feel
watching
bad.
because it takes what the original Candyman does and it's this song. So Song Batteries came out as a single, and I've been listening to it nonstop, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is the one song on the album that I heard fresh from the album release that I have listened to nonstop
Yeah,
and have
yeah.
not grown tired. I love the highs and lows of it. And I know that's why, like, this is very theatrical almost,
Mm-hmm.
Feral of the Flesh, but what compared to Welcome to Horrorwood, which is very anthem, this is such a storytelling song. This is
Yeah, no, it's
I
a dramatic song.
and
I would put
I
it.
think it doesn't help that I do put the new Candyman film into it and knowing like what the Candyman is.
Well, I don't think you have to
And
watch the new one to know what the Candyman is. I think.
well, again, I watch, but like
No, I'm just
again, I
saying.
didn't watch it. Like, watched it after the remake, and I really like the original Candyman and the
Mm-hmm.
remake a lot. I think this very much encapsulates the bittersweet sorrow that is the Candyman and
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
how
It's a
he's
song that
it.
it shoots for the moon. It definitely shoots for the moon, and you gotta. I appreciate the song. I
I
appreciate it.
think just because I don't I can't explain why I can say colorful. I can say the mood of it's really good. I love the highs and lows. I love change ups. I I love that learning how to play Dance of the Bumblebee on guitar that Dan
Hmm.
Sugarman did. That was a really good add-on for it. The bee sounds, the ambiance. I just this is a perfect closer for Welcome to Horrorwood.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think about closes our review of Welcome to Horrorwood. So obviously we both hated the album.
Obviously.
We were not fans. 0 out of 10. Go listen to Smash Mouth instead. Um,
Oh my god.
you can't see them live anymore. Tragically, tragically. But yeah, no, look, what a fun album. What a fun follow up to
Mhm.
what I thought was really 2 albums worth of great material from this band.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you think they're gonna come out with the trilogy?
almost have to, just because like the
It's
gimmick of
gimmick.
it almost has to have a trilogy,
Have a
right?
trilogy.
And if they do, we'll be here, and
Mhm.
I was trying to think like what they could possibly, because there's still plenty out there that they can cover. They've obviously gone pretty Stephen King heavy, so
I really would like to
something
this
like
is a weird
Salem's
thing.
Lot or something.
This isn't a popular one, but I am a fan of Children of the Corn a lot, and I think that'd be kind of
I
funny
would
to
actually, I'd say it's a pretty popular one. I think a lot of people like Children of the Corn. It's a
as someone who's also Nebraskan.
yeah.
uh,
Your people love corn, right? You eat corn with every
yeah,
meal.
totally. We're totally
Eat corn for
but
breakfast. Breakfast
or
corn.
the other one I would like to see them tackle is The Thing.
Mm, yeah. Well, I just think, they've obviously shown a clear love for Stephen King's works.
Mhm.
They've done Carrie
Both
in every trick
in
in the book.
both in
Um,
book form and in movie
they've
form
done The
alone.
Shining. They've done It. And now, of course, with
Mhm.
the, well, yeah, so they're showing a Pet Cemetery. I couldn't remember the name of it for a minute there.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because cemetery is not spelled. Um, but Cujo, what have you. They have all kinds of Stephen King options, and they still have plenty of options in regards to slashers
Mhm.
and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see where they go from here, but overall, really solid sequel album.
Mhm.
Scream 2 makes the joke about how sequels suck, which of course was it just being self-aware because it was in fact a sequel. Um,
Mhm.
Sometimes sequels are really good. I think that T2 is better than the original Terminator. The Dark Knight is better than Batman Begins.
Shrek 2 is
Um,
beyond
Sh-
elevated the Shrek
Shrek
world.
2, Empire Strikes Back. You can go with a lot of examples. Sometimes a
Mhm.
sequel takes what the original did and
And
and really
expands
runs
upon
with
it.
it. This one, I wouldn't say it quite did that. I don't think it took with I don't think it was a jump in regards to I don't know. There's really not a lot of question with almost any of the sequels that were just mentioned. At most, I'd say 90% are going to say, "Oh yeah, that's better than the original." But
Mhm.
with that said, it didn't have to be leaps and bounds better. It just had to be a good album, and it was.
It had to be a good, like it is a good sequel, but it's not going to be one where it's like, oh my god, it's gonna raise them even more. Which I could find some people being raised with this more,
Yeah, I
but
mean it's possible. It's
this is a good sequel album for us casual fans.
now you speak of we
Oh, I
we
say
we
casual,
we
but like
we speak of some Ice Nine Kills. You're going to see them live soon, right?
I am gonna see them live. I'm actually going to see them live in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, that's exciting. That's fun.
Hmm.
I
And
wish I could, but I could not find anyone who wanted to go with me, and I hate going to concerts alone. But
yeah.
yeah, I'll have to make it work eventually, just because like
Mhm.
I gotta, I
I'll
got,
send you
I gotta,
videos and make you jealous. How
I
about
got,
that?
I got, I got a tour coming up. I gotta take care of. Um, I gotta notice me, senpai. Notice me.
No,
Uh,
no, no.
but yeah, all right. So good album there. I do want to mention to anyone who has made it this long of our ramblings about Ice Nine Kills. We're gonna transition into talking a little bit about you are a streamer.
Oh
You
god,
do you do the stream thing.
I
You
guess I
you
do.
you hit go live and you play some games, right? So I think
Mhm.
there's a lot of bad streaming advice out there. So you've streamed, right? If you had to say just one difficulty with streaming that you maybe didn't anticipate, right?
Mhm.
What's one thing that surprised you in terms of difficulty with streaming?
If I'm going to be honest, it's kind of because I'm very introverted, like
Mm-hmm.
very, very introverted, and it takes a toll on me to be continuously talking to things and trying to talk to the chat, even though I don't get that many, I'm pretty small and I do this casually.
Mm-hmm.
It can take a huge toll, and there's a lot of days if you are not feeling that crash due to like your own personal mental health stuff, it is a lot more difficult. Scheduling's difficult as well because it's hard to push through if you're someone who suffers from like anxiety or depression or any of those type of things. It's hard to push through that type of things, and don't beat yourself and get mad at yourself because it's a lot harder some days, or even sometimes it lasts like a week or a month or a couple months. But please know that like your mental health takes like the most important thing. You
Mm.
yourself are important. And it is something a lot of big streamers acknowledge as well as of lately, which I'm glad has been an acknowledgement to it. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree. It's
I
keeping the
mean,
mental health in check is
I could say
sometimes.
don't
Mhm.
focus on the numbers,
Don't
but
focus.
that's
Yeah.
something that is very difficult to do for some things. But don't beat yourself up know why you started it. If you started it as for me, just to, get yourself to do things or a way to just have fun and talk to people and share what you love to doing, just remember that, you know?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's follow up question here. What would be your favorite game you've ever streamed?
Okay, the Walking Dead series, and
Really? Okay, fun.
that has been I've literally that stream has I wish I have it like saved. I
Mm-hmm.
have cried. I was ugly crying so much during certain chapters of it. There's actually something in from Walking Dead final chapter with a character named Lee, which is one of my favorite characters that has literally anytime he's mentioned, I feel myself tear up. And
Oh no, did something happen to Lee?
I think if you know what
I've
happens
I've
with me.
I've played the game. I know. I know.
Yeah, but it really hits, especially with him and Clementine's relationship. Like it just got to me a lot, and like I remember sitting there. I had to like go on to intermission BRB and had to like just start like crying. And even then, I came back. And I'm like, I'm not okay, but I'll continue. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
that one, the Walking Dead series is probably the biggest highlight for me. I experienced that series firsthand with people from start to finish. There was no spoilers for me. There was nothing, and I loved every single bit of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I didn't play the game on stream. I played it a
Mhm.
younger food played it on his Xbox 360, you know. Um sitting alone in a room somewhere. Which is probably for the best because yeah, stunned silence when you're done with it. Have you played The Wolf of Wall Street? Not
Oh, you mean the Wolf
I had
Why,
I
yes,
had a moment.
Leonardo
Have you played my
DiCaprio's
favorite?
game.
Have you played my favorite video game, The Wolf of Wall Street? Like you get quick time events to like snort cocaine and throw little people.
You know that
Um,
it's been rumored that well,
I
I
meant
think
Wolf Among Us, but you know
it's been
what?
confirmed that the sequel's coming.
How do you do a sequel to that?
It left off at a really good way to continue
Oh, you're
on.
talking about Wolf Among Us.
Yeah,
I think you
Wolf
meant
Among Us.
of Wall Street, and I was like, how do you do a
No, I
sequel?
meant
What else has he done? What else has he been doing out here?
no, Wolf Among Us is getting a sequel. And
Oh, well,
I
that's pretty exciting.
I love
Wait,
Wolf
but
Among Us
how?
was so
Telltale
great.
closed.
I guess I
Somebody else
remembered
bought
that
it, I
it kept
guess.
yeah, it kept going back and forth, but I remember seeing it this year. I forgot where, but it was actually confirmed that it would get a sequel, like unlike
Mm-hmm.
other times, which I would be excited for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Wolf Among Us was a game I did play on stream. I had to click away at some points during chapter 2 and the beginning of chapter 3 during
Mm.
the, strip club scenes. Didn't even know that was there until I was like, "Ah, yes, that's a titty."
Oh, what? You mean the cool scenes? Give
But
me those cell shaded titties, you know?
yeah, that was a good one. Another game highlights would be oh, what was the other one? Uh the Harvester games with Cat Lady, which I did play and watch previously with the other two. Very
You
dark,
did
very
Undertale pretty recently as well, right?
I did finish Neutral Ending, and I'm
Did
currently working on the Pacifist.
that
Uh,
and you've done some Pokemon Nuzlocke.
I oh my god, I'm so scared to get back because this one is going to be me either the Nuzlocke has ended
Yeah.
because all my Pokemon have died, or I'm gonna survive, but from the barest.
Yeah. Skin of your teeth type situation.
I have a friend that's gonna try to help me with getting teams together, but it's not looking good, Chief.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
No. Fuck the Dragon Gym.
Oh, we're dragons. They aren't they weak what to fairy types?
And no, this is before Fairy types was introduced.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah, this is Gen 5. This is
Yeah,
black and white.
yeah, wow. See, this almost makes me want to go on a whole Pokemon tangent, but I've kept you for almost 2 hours now. So,
That's
I'm gonna have to let you go so that we don't take your entire. I was gonna say your entire afternoon, but we're kind of getting to night now.
Mm.
So we don't take too much of your time. But I guess, do you have any final parting shots? Any words of wisdom? Anything you want to relay to the millions and millions and probably billions that are gonna listen?
Don't create that anxiety. um,
Just think of all those earballs listening.
yeah, so if you keep if you really enjoyed this, like, of course it's just a casual thing. I do suggest giving a support to our DOS food. He's been doing it for a
Well,
while.
that's bad
And
advice. I think that I think
and
I'm gonna speak over you here and say Odori streams on Twitch at Odorible. We'll put up a little graphic there, post so you can see at Odorible. Uh, Join the Discord. You can meme about and thank you so much, Odori, for coming on and being the first guest on this that is not a
thank you for
podcast.
having me. I love our little tangents and rambles, even though to some people it might be a lot, but I love it. It's
Yeah,
great.
well, when I thought about doing a not podcast, a not cast, um, my one of the things I thought about was like, I have these types of talks with people, and it's like it'd be fun to
Mhm.
put these out there, and if one person enjoys them, like, great, we were gonna have to talk anyway, so
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It was something we were gonna plan of having a night together just to like talk about this album, but this kind of at least we can put it out there
we
and it
can
should be
put it
fun.
out there and super high production value,
Exactly.
as
Get
with
to hear
everything I
my
do. Um, but thank you to everyone who tuned in and listened. I do appreciate you. If you made it this far, drop a little something in the comments saying like, "Hey, I made it this far," and then you'll get absolutely nothing, but maybe like a heart. I don't know. I heart most comments, so it's not much.
How
But
about a comment that you made it this far and then tell us your favorite song from the album if you gave it a listen, or tell us if they decided to do a trilogy, what would you
mm,
like to see be mentioned?
yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be open to hearing about what people want to see them cover. I
Mhm.
guess one more rapid fire little question here for you. um, because I've kind of made my name on playing Dead by Daylight. That's kind of my go-to, right?
Mhm.
Um, you've played it. I know it's not you're more variety than I am, but you do play it from time to time.
I play it casually by like not on stream with
Hmm.
friends as survivors. I That's the only way I can enjoy it.
If you could have one chapter added, what would it be?
Uh, Honestly, I would really like an original character a lot more than a licensed
Yeah, but see,
character.
you gotta give me. For me, I've been pounding the drums for like 3 years now. I want a pirate killer. Give me a pirate. Uh,
I know people are talking about vampire killer, and that would be pretty cool.
I
Pirate would
I
be.
think, and I may be wrong. I think the next two chapters are pretty much confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with chapter 22 that's coming, looking like it'll be a vampire, and
I
then
do
chapter
really like
20.
the art, the face of like a murder, with it being crows because a group of crows is called a murder.
Yeah, chapter 23 is looking like it's gonna be Valak the Nun from The Conjuring.
Actually, I think it was deconfirmed from it, um, because it's yeah, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, it's hard to know with leaks because sometimes leaks,
Mm-hmm.
you go back, you're like, wow, they were spot on with everything, and then sometimes you go and you say that was all either wrong or misconstrued. Um,
Exactly. And I think with the 23rd chapter, they only had the they only had the map stuff.
yeah,
Um
like the Abbey.
and even then that was still like placeholder blocks and stuff. That
Yeah,
wasn't like official
which
stuff.
also hypothetically an Abbey type building could be for a vampire. Um,
Uh-huh.
so
Yeah.
there's no time, but yeah, Dead by Daylight, I got lost. So we're not gonna get into all that. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're gonna let you go do your thing. Are you streaming tonight?
I don't know actually. I don't think I am gonna stream tonight, but I will be trying to stream Thursday, November 11th.
All right. Well, if you're listening to this, either be there or
Be hip to be squared. Hey. All right. I hope you guys have a
I
lovely day.
understand if you don't go to a stream after that, but I do want you to know it's gonna be a good time. Um,
And this is where I'm never invited again. So
we just gotta we gotta keep you as like we'll break it up into seasons. We'll start each season off with you. Hey, let's. You know what I'm gonna get you to do, Ryan? Is we're going to have me review like a Star Set album, and you're going to review a Hollywood Undead album, and it's gonna go really poorly, and we'll probably stop being friends. But you know that'll be how we do it. You
I
know,
believe
go
the Starset album did come out,
yeah. See,
technically.
they say most relationships don't explode; they erode. But in this instance, this will be an explosion. When you come back and say, "Hey, Will, your artist sucks," and it's like, I know, but shut up.
No,
Shut up about it.
no, Hollywood Undead isn't bad.
Depends on who you ask. But
Anyways, thank you so much
anyway,
for having me.
peoples, take care. I'm not going to keep anybody for 2 hours. I don't. I do stream as well. If you can't find that from this channel, maybe I don't know. Help you. Well, I could, but won't. Should, but won't. Yeah, go check out Odori at Odorible on Twitch. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in for this. You know, there's no right answer to how you enjoy an album, but damn, I did get closer. Make sure you guys tune in. Hopefully next week we will have another episode up and running for you of this not podcast. I am kicking around some ideas with a couple of people. We'll see who agrees to partake in this insanity. But thank you to everyone who tuned in, and until next time, I guess my parting message. I don't have a tagline that I end on, right? But my general thing is that kindness is free. You can be whatever you want to be, so be kind. Until then, bye, friends.